changing the manual gearbox oil or the transmission on my 1995 Nissan Pathfinder. I just used these pavers just a couple of inches and blocked it up. It has enough room underneath to work. I found that if it was too high, you'd have to reach up high, and kind of being on your back is nice. So I think this will be a nice trade-off to just have a little bit of extra lift and have enough space, but also not being too high. That won't be awkward to work on. Whenever working underneath the vehicle, eye protection is really important, so if something doesn't hit you in your eyes, glove protection is good. Also, I'm not a certified mechanic. This is just what works for me. Hopefully you'll be able to gain benefit out of these videos. But if you feel uncomfortable, always ask for a certified mechanic or someone you trust to do the work for you. Anyway, enjoy. There is my drain plug, and there's my fill plug. And it looks like some oil is coming out, so maybe it's time for me to replace this oil just because the seal is not tight enough, or maybe when I put the thread locker on there, it'll fill up any gaps there might be. But yeah, I'll get started with removing the fill port. Always important to remove the fill drain first. In case of you can't get it off, then there's no way to fill up the transmission with oil. So I went to go torque it with my breaker bar without even trying, and I realized it's essentially finger tight. No wonder why it's leaking a little oil. It's not even tight. I'm not sure how that happened. Yeah, I have no clue. I think this one's most likely a little tighter than that, but I'm like, oh my gosh, that's not good. I'm so glad I'm working on this today. At least it was easy to take off, right? Yeah. Wow, well, there was plenty of fluid in there, oil, because that's the fill plug, and it's draining out really nice, so I had plenty in there. That's just so weird that it was loose, and it looks like it was overfilled. My car is totally level. I warmed it up and drove it around, and yeah, so quite interesting. The bottom one is tight. Oh, there we go. There, I'm starting to loosen up a little bit. There we go. The bottom one was totally tight. At worst, the top probably just was splashing a little bit. It wasn't leaking enough. There we go. Got this tight, probably. Trying to make not too big of a mess on my hand. And that worked out well. Nice. So that oil is definitely dark. It's been a while. I'm thinking back in 2005 I had the transmission done, but it's a long time ago. This is definitely ready for some new stuff. It looks a little red rather than oil. It has a red hue to it. I'm going to double check to make sure you use oil rather than using actual transmission fluid. The magnet at the end, it looks pretty good. There we go. Not too much, just a little bit of metal on there. It is dripping a little bit, but I wiped down the threads, and the plugs are also clean. I'm going to put some thread sealant on it. Just did a couple of threads by hand. Very important to make sure you don't start torquing right away, that it goes nice and easy. That's pretty good. Throw them away for a moment. And then we'll probably need two hands on this to torque it right. Chest tripod. Let's see. I double checked. My manual transmission uses GL4. The Lucas synthetic 7590 gear oil trans and diff is good. I've got my pump all set up, and I have it feeding into the nice. It's pumping it nicely. There we go. So I got it filled up to the fill line. It was, I think, about 3.6 liters. And yeah, it's overfilling just a little bit. I'll go ahead and put some thread sealant and put on the fill plug. Get this tight on here. Just with his finger. And for some reason, this one was loose. Well, it wasn't loose, but it was, I could release the load with just my hand. Almost tight. This is already way tighter than it was. It's way further in. It's out pretty far when I was removing it. So I'm not sure if that's a just kind of loosened up over time or if it's never tightened all the way in the first place. That is tight. Nice. It's all done. Oil's in. No leaks. It's definitely not detailed. I just kind of cleaned it up to make sure there's no oil coming out. Looks pretty good. If you like these type of videos, definitely let me know, and I will try to make more on either my Pathfinder, my BMW, or my wife's Audi. Yeah, cool. Have a good one.